Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol and I'll be your host today. And just waiting for some folks to show up and make it a meeting. In the meantime, hello, a Rolling Stone. Hi. Hey, Ben. Hey, Ben. Hi, Christy. Come on in here. Get in here. Hi, Henny. Hey.
Hey, how are
Hey, how are
you?
you? Could you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I didn't have these
Yeah,
in, and so I couldn't hear you. I had this plugged in, but not, yeah. Anyway.
it's okay. I only have one in.
Okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So it was kind of interesting because our heat went out like three different times. So it went out the
Ooh.
other day and it was out from, I think it went out at like 3 in the morning. And then it didn't come back on until like 9 or 10. And then it went out twice last night. So we moved our bed in front of the fireplace in the living room and slept there.
We have some rollaway beds that we set up in our living room where the wood stove is.
Yeah. Oh, this was like, well, and then the dogs were climbing all over because they're not allowed in the bedroom or on the bed. So they were like, woohoo!
Woohoo!
Like, we're not sure what's going on, but it's a party.
You know it was. Hi, Zelda. Hi, Debbie Doodles.
Yes. Hey, everybody. Hello, Megan.
Customer.
Hi. How
Megan.
have, how have you guys been? I feel I'm joking, but I feel like I go away and next thing you know, Aaron's getting arrested and
Right? The whole
I'm like, oh,
place goes nuts.
I know, right? Right? Cosmic, hello. Oh, you found your headphones and then you lost him, Pup Groomer. Hi. So it sounds like everything sort of got sorted out with him, but sounds like he's going to be suing the LAPD.
Yep, I saw that today. Yep,
Man,
sounds like he's got a pretty strong case going too,
yes,
you know?
yes, yes, yeah. I don't know if you guys have watched it. Popcorn Planet did a really good. They have a
I haven't seen
one
it
of
yet, but
the
I saw that they did do clips.
yeah.
Yeah,
Christopher Melcher is an amazing attorney, and he's based out of California,
yes.
and he just broke it down.
I love
And he's
Christopher
like,
Melcher.
I
Mm-hmm.
do too. I wish
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't just on Twitter. I don't go on Twitter. That's a
Yeah.
little much for me.
Hi,
But
Karen Smiling. Good to see ya.
hello,
You know,
shitty
I
kitties.
want to say something that just occurred to me today. I have not been on a crazy spending spree since December.
Yay! That's so
And,
awesome.
I know that part of it is because I'm not super duper depressed like I was, but I
Right,
also
right.
truly and honestly believe it was these meetings.
It's these meetings have a great way of bringing. Hold on. I had to turn my fireplace down. There's Ben. Hello. Have a great way of just, really kind of helping you see what's going on and,
Yeah.
kind of, and even if it's just somebody else addressing something they're going through, it really can help you, kind of like, hey,
I mean, it's
um,
like, I don't know, I'm just regulated a lot better,
mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm,
know, and it truly was addictive behavior,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it was.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that I'm in the clear, but I'm saying I see improvement. I see progress.
And that's a huge thing to even
Hmm.
just say, hey, I haven't done this in this long. And, that's because that's where it all starts. One step, you know,
Yeah.
like a realization
Yeah.
and then saying it out loud because that's important too.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you.
Yeah. And I had an open
Awesome.
and honest conversation with my husband today about the state of my credit cards.
Hmm.
And nobody got out of control. Nobody got,
Good.
because sometimes those conversations they've gone sideways a good bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel threatened because, I know I'm
Mhm.
in the wrong,
Yes. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, but how do you feel about the fact that
So
it
like
went
such a heavy
well?
weight is lifted off of me,
Yeah. I
you
can
know.
imagine. Do you feel like you can breathe?
I do.
Yeah. Good. And how
Yeah.
awesome is that that you can have that trust too, that, hey, I can come to you with this and it's this time it went great.
Yeah.
Steve's a good guy. We like Steve here.
Hello, TK for life.
Hello. Oh, hey, TK.
Hi, Rev
I am
Rasheen.
so glad that you're here. How are
Good to
you
see you
doing?
guys so much. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes. Oh, Huckleberry, hey.
Hey,
TK,
Huckleberry.
are you doing good? I just wanted to check in with you.
I love
Oh,
that name,
Shell.
Huckleberry hashtag
Yes.
Calhoun. I love that.
Ben,
Hey, Debbie
how
Doodles.
have you been? How have you been?
I've been doing okay. How have you been?
Oh, I've been good. Well, except for, the electric going out and
Yes. Oh, that's got to be fun in winter
Oh,
since you guys are like 3,000 degrees below zero out there.
right. Yeah, yeah. Well, and one of my best friend neighbors down the road texted me and he's like, "Hope you're happy because
you
you
know,
wanted this."
I
And
want to. Oh, sorry. I want to
no,
let's.
no,
No, I
yeah.
don't want. I want you to finish what you're saying, but I also want to address this question by Rev Rashim.
And I was like, yeah, everybody hates me, but I'm good. No, that's all. There was really no point to the story.
Oh, well, there kind of was though. I'm sorry. Go ahead though.
Oh, it's okay. When is it time to let someone out of your life?
Yeah. When is it?
Is
Yeah,
that the question?
that is the question. When is it time?
Well,
If you're asking that question, then you're probably getting there.
mhm.
It's kind of like when I came out of a cult, I was ready in 2001. I didn't get out until 2009 because I didn't know how to get out. So
Right.
it's really just, if you're asking that question, then you kind of already know there's an answer
Mhm.
and you probably know what that answer is, I'm guessing. And so it's a matter of just, okay, where do I jump off at? And figuring out how to do that. You know, I had the extra thing dangling in front of me of if I leave the cult, I'm going to hell.
Yeah.
So, if hell's not at stake, then you probably stand better odds. I'm
Right.
not trying to be facetious. That's real.
It is. The fear of that and the manipulation of that is real. I guess my response would be, um, who is this person? What's going on? Is this a friend that you're wanting to, like not have in your life anymore? Is this a family member? Or, someone that you're involved intimately with? That's going to look a lot different. But I think that my response would be, when you feel that things have really turned toxic, if you're feeling manipulated in any way, if you're feeling abused in any way, whether that's emotional or financially. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to feel that way.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think that Carol's right.
Hey,
Gay.
Cosmic.
That you're if you're asking, I agree with Carol. You're probably pretty close. The hows and wins and all of that can look a little different depending on who it is, but
And it's
yeah.
probably a given at this point. This person is more damaging or more well, you
Yeah.
use the term toxic. I guess another term would be uh, harmful. Uh,
Hmm.
only harmful. Not that we should only keep people in our lives that give us something. I mean, it's not certainly not it. But when it's damaging to you,
Hmm.
'cause it doesn't do you a whole lot of good to be. Yeah, who is this person? That would be.
Yeah.
they're terrible.
Are they a family member, or is it someone you're not related to, or you don't have to say who it is, but I mean, maybe it might be helpful to know if it's a family member, because I've had to completely cut family out of my life. I've had to do that, and it sucks, and it's
Yeah.
confusing, and it's guilt ridden, and it's so many things, but there was no choice,
And in the end, you make your family. You can pick your family.
Yeah, you
So,
can.
Yeah.
and
Close
your
friend.
friends.
Okay.
A close
A close friend. Okay. Whew. And if you've
I'm
been
just gonna make
friends
a
a
coffee.
long time, yeah, it's tricky. I'm not gonna lie. It's tricky. It's messy.
Especially
know?
if it's a close friend, because that indicates at one time that there was a friendship, an actual friendship there, versus something that's only damaging to you, which would be a harmful relationship.
Yeah.
Is this person going through something, or is this something that's only come about lately, or
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend who has been my friend for 30 years that was really engaged in some very unhealthy behavior. And, I tried to and maybe this will help. I tried to kind of talk to them a little bit and be like, this isn't healthy. This is like what this behavior could cost you. It could cost you your job, your apartment, your kids, just all of this stuff kind of went through everything. And ultimately, this person was not in a healthy spot in their life, and chose to continue on with this endeavor over here that was really unhealthy. So, just kind of what I said to them is, look, we've been friends for 30 some years, and I have very strong feelings about this. There's a lot at risk here. I can't, watch you kind of do this to yourself, and, you're making some choices that I just can't have in my life. And so I'm going to step back. And, and I didn't, from that particular person, I didn't step completely away from the friendship. I just stepped back, and I was like, when you're ready to talk about this, let me know. And about 2.5 years later, the person came back around and said, hey, let's talk about this. Now, that might not be the case with you, but it might be something where if it's just, they're around someone that's maybe not healthy, or a behavior that's not healthy, maybe if you're able to kind of step away from it for a little while, that could, you could find that to be beneficial, because it's setting a boundary and giving them a consequence.
Yeah.
You're saying, I'm not going to.
Yeah. The boundary thing is real big.
Yeah. Just, I'm not going to allow this in my life. I'm not kicking you out forever, but until this changes. Now, if this person is, let's say they've got a mental issue and they're unmedicated or something like that, where this could be, something bigger, maybe you could see if they can, find someone to talk to or whatever. I mean, I'm always I'm really careful. Like, you got to really do some stuff for me to kick you out of my life.
Yeah.
I kind of always like to just say, this right now isn't acceptable, but if you get it sorted out, I'm not leaving entirely, but the situation. And if it is truly a situation that is not going to change, if it's, abusive, manipulative, nasty behavior, and it's something you need to walk away from, then just kind of cut the ties, cut the cord, say, you know what, I've tried, tell them, be like, this is why I'm leaving, and then leave. And don't, and I've done that too. I mean, I've also had situations where I'm like, hey, we're not friends anymore. This is why. Your secrets are safe with me. Still not going to tell everybody, but you don't need to pick up the phone. So, I mean, I think it kind of depends, but I do like to try to get people a way back in, because everything's situational. Look at all of us. We've all been in these really crazy situations, and, it's not that we're bad people. We just were in crazy situations, and maybe that's where it's at with this person.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Surviving together. Hello.
Hello.
I've taken a series of significant financial hits in the past month. Yesterday, I threw the transmission on like
ouch.
40,000 miles, 5-year warranty.
Ooh, okay.
I'm at 5.5 years, no coverage. It's going to be thousands. You know what? Take a look before you just like go to a dealership or anything. See if you can find a good transmission repair person in your area. Sometimes if you go to them, they're not going to be as expensive as if you go to, say, the mechanic at your dealership or something. And you know, kind of talk to them. If you've got someone, if you're a woman and you've got someone you can take with you, that's always kind of a good idea as a woman. Even though I kind of know enough about cars to be dangerous, not a whole lot, you still sometimes kind of get treated like maybe you don't know a whole lot. So
it's at a friend's shop.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Well, if it's at a friend's shop,
maybe
then I'm sure
they'll work with you.
Yeah. Transmissions are tricky too, because there's so many like moving parts. When we had to have the transmission fixed on the Camaro, I did not know what the inside of a transmission looks like. And if you've ever seen the inside of a watch, imagine that like a million times over, just all of that on the inside.
Intimidating it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it
There's
is.
a lot of shops they won't even touch them.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of shops here in our town that are just transmissions. It's all they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's last time I blew one out. Yeah, I just had to just order it and have these other people put it in. They refused to touch it, and actually, I don't think they could have done anything anyway. It was one of the ones were split, and yeah, it was really fun. I mean, it was really surprising I got back. Yes, setting boundaries. Oh, that's always such fun. Oh, I hate that. You know, and the thing is,
it feels good once you're on the other side of it, but it does not feel good in the process. Ever.
Yeah, they always setting boundaries is one of those things that always feels bad because, of course, it should be. Well, not should, but because you're limiting a social relationship, and that is always painful
and tricky.
And and we like to give in, and it's one of those things. Once you set a boundary, you need to immediately. You don't want to do it after the fact. I mean, you want to do it before something comes up.
Yeah.
And then immediately act on it. But and we're so bad. Well, at least I'm so bad at keeping boundaries.
Well,
it's definitely a skill that you have to develop if you've not. I mean, especially like if you've come from any kind of addictive behavior situation. That's part of that whole process of being active in addiction is you didn't set boundaries.
Yes.
And so that's how you're choosing to deal with it is, engaging in addictive behavior. And nothing's getting better. Everything's
or even people pleasing. If you grew up in an environment where you had to people
could be
please.
an addiction as well,
Yeah. I mean, it can be difficult. What I have found always helps is just, I try not to explain a lot. Just, this is it. Like I'm gonna pick on Stasia because she's my friend and I know I can be like, Stasia, green shirts are just, I can't, that is just too much in my life. And it's very difficult for me to manage that. And so when you're around, I'm going to need you to not wear the green shirt. And if you do, I'm going to have to leave. Now, of course, I think Stasia looks beautiful in green shirts, and I would never not be somebody's friend over a green shirt. But that was the most innocent thing I could come up with. But it is. And telling them what your boundary is, why that's there, and what the consequence is going to be, and make it a consequence you can find yourself sticking to. If it's I walk away, if it's I step back. If it, whatever that looks like to you, it's your boundary. So you get to also choose the consequence.
Yeah.
But it's important to
Yeah.
stick to it. And the first few times will be tough.
Wow.
And
Well,
if-
yeah,
I
and then
get
there's
it.
also that feeling of almost rejection, even when it's with
Mhm.
somebody that you trust.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, this person placed a boundary, and now on the other side too, right? This person
Mhm.
placed a boundary and I'm feeling rejected because of it, or you're placing the boundary and their reaction to you placing that boundary feels like rejection.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's always something you want to make sure you can set out and not illustrate, but you can set out and say, this is the reason for this, and I value our friendship and blah blah blah, and yeah, you have to be. It's one of those things that, I mean, you can lay out a fairly poor boundary pretty quickly, and it can still get worked out. But yeah, it's usually one of those things after you set a boundary, it's like, damn it, I should have said it this way and this way and this way, and often
Coulda,
there's a lot of
shoulda,
times,
wouldas.
yeah, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of times
Yeah.
we'll go back and say, oh, I didn't mean it like that. No, don't worry about it. And but yeah, it's setting. And
Yeah.
if you
Yeah, I'm
feel,
finding it.
No fun.
and if you're
So
feeling,
what I've been doing is writing them out. When I'm going to be placing a boundary, I write it out before I even have the conversation.
yeah,
Okay.
And that's when I'm like, hey, okay, gives me time to think about it and what I can actually do as a consequence, so to speak, for going over my boundary. And does this boundary actually make sense once I've written it out? Because sometimes I've tried placing a boundary and it just doesn't seem to make sense when I'm saying it. So taking the extra step to write it out has been helpful.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something you
Yeah.
obviously want. I mean, or else you wouldn't have felt that you needed to set it. But yeah, it's so easy in the moment to get twisted backwards, especially if you get somebody who's at all argumentative. So yeah, that is a really good point, really good thing to do.
It can get
Yes.
so messy. So
Yeah.
I
messy.
still find it difficult when they're argumentative when I've written it out. Like I started doing this maybe 2 years ago, writing it out. But then the argumentative side is what makes me feel like I'm the problem. So that's what I'm trying to work on now, because I understand I'm not particularly the problem. It's the fact that they might not be able to see how to continue a relationship with that boundary there. So
Yeah,
I
well,
understand that.
Being argumentative in itself isn't a problem. I mean, I just think sometimes people don't know that they don't know how to argue back, and they don't know how to argue for themselves, their own point. If they don't have an argument to argue, they're just making a point. You know what I'm saying? They're just making a point. They don't have an argument for their point, so therefore they don't. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Well,
They don't have anything to back themselves up.
I don't know. Can you guys see this comment from Rev Rashim? I don't
Yeah, I
like
was
to
actually
feel
gonna
lonely
try
and
and make a
rejected.
point.
That's why it's hard for me to let people go. Is
Yeah.
it possible that it's just a boundary needs to be put into place in order to make the relationship not
that's
unequal?
where I was gonna. That's where I was going to come in. Is that I'm having trouble putting boundaries in because I haven't done it for so long. Now that I'm putting them in place, people are going, well, you didn't have this boundary before. So they're not saying it. They're not actually saying it. But because I didn't have these boundaries before, now I'm putting them in place. They're not happy about it. And so they're pushing back against these boundaries that I'm now putting in place. And so, and now, and it's happening in my own house. And so I'm having these boundaries and they're pushing back against them. And it hurts me that I'm getting this pushback. And it's like, just because I didn't have boundaries before doesn't mean that I shouldn't have. And that
right. And I think to address what Reverend is saying here, so a couple things, because there's a couple of comments that I want to address.
And also
that you
and
go ahead.
Peter one about the friendship one. That also, like, you come back to me when you've got friends. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's just manipulation.
That's not nice.
It sounds like. I'm so sorry surviving together.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
not.
That's of course that hurt for years.
And
Yeah.
that's not a boundary. That's
No,
just me.
that's just mean.
To be clear, that's just me.
Just mean.
So let's go back. I don't want to lose my train of thought, because I will. So Reverend, okay, so maybe I place too high of expectations on people whom I deal with. Probably not. I think that there's a good certain level of respect and courtesy that should be, had between friends.
Yeah.
I really would never look at it as this is my fault. I also wouldn't look at it as you have, like making someone leave. You're not telling someone to leave. You're saying this behavior is not acceptable to me. And when you do this behavior, this is what I'm going to do. That person then chooses to either continue that behavior. And at that point, if they do that, then you need to look at the aspect of their respect for you, their respect for your relationship, their respect for your rules, for your property, that kind of thing, whatever this is around. Because then that becomes a respect issue and a whole different thing. Or they could say, oh, wow, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that this was going on, and they correct the behavior. So I think boundaries look like, there's a difference between, so Ronald Reagan said something once. He's like, the Berlin Wall, he said, was the only wall that was built to keep people in, not keep people out. Fences are a good thing, right? If you look at a fence, it's a good thing, you keep the stuff out of your critters in your yard and everything like that. There's a difference between that and something that's being, built to like a prison wall. You're not putting up a prison wall. You're putting up a fence. And however that person responds to you says a lot about what they think about you and your friendship. So please don't internalize that, because that's not anything that probably you're doing. And if you want to explain a little bit more about what it's about specifically, maybe we can give you some ideas, or be like, yeah, you've got high expectations, which I'm sure you probably don't, because most people don't have these
unreasonable
huge, they're like, be decent to me, and
just basic human decency toward each other is not too high an expectation, I don't believe.
Yeah. No.
Boundary, that's like just kindness is my boundary,
Yeah.
Kindness all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
Yeah. And Tara had a point here. It can be hard to be on the receiving end of boundaries too. It can feel like rejection. This is when good self-care comes into play. And it's also a great time to reframe that for yourself. And if someone's giving you a boundary, maybe what you could say is, okay, what can I work on in myself that I have caused this person to feel disrespected, or whatever the boundaries around, right? Because we can all grow, and that is how we grow. So if, we'll go back to Station in the Green, she could be like, Christy, that's ridiculous. And I'm going to wear my green shirt. And, you know what I'm saying? So I think that there's I think it's, as opposed to being rejected, look at it, Tara, try looking at it as a learning opportunity. How can I learn to, what can I learn about myself from this?
Well, and maybe even learn from the person who's putting forth the boundary that, oh, well, maybe that's something I should look into, incorporating something similar into my life. Could be healthy.
And people do put forward unhealthy boundaries. So, first of all, evaluate the boundary, make sure it makes sense. But, if it makes sense, and you can go back and you can see, if the boundary is, I've been sober for 3 months, don't invite me to the bar. Okay, well, did you know that person had been sober for 3 months? Maybe it was something you didn't even know. You see what I'm saying? And then you could be like, oh, a way you could reframe it is, how could I ask better questions to know what's going on? How could, and you could grow that way. So I just don't want anybody to feel icky.
A lot of times too, it depending upon the person. Now, this obviously doesn't work with some people, but sometimes it also helps to say, when you do this, I feel this, and therefore I need to blah blah blah, or I become this. When you drink, I get tempted to drink. So you're laying out that you're not just doing it for no good reason. You're laying
Yeah.
out,
Right.
this is why I
Yeah.
want
Right.
to do this, and I value this relationship, or
Yeah.
whatnot.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's always hard though once the boss music gets started. The boss fight music gets started going, and your mother saying, "Well, no, I want to tell you to get married you're 19 now. You need to get married right now, and why are you waiting so long?" And blah blah.
Oh goodness.
Oh, man.
Anik, I was gonna say, you know, I think that's great. You know, you have high standards, and you've got a few friends, but you cherish all of them. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that means that the friends that you have, you haven't compromised on. You cherish them and you love them to death. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really don't. Am I talking too loud? Because I got this one
No.
ear plugged. Am I?
No.
Okay. I just don't want to sound like I'm screaming.
And I love.
You're good.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying you're good to Christy.
Cosmic, were
I
you
just
about to
don't
say
think
something?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was just adjusting my volume because I was just
Oh,
thinking,
okay.
everybody's a bit loud. And it's just because I was just realized I've got my headphones on.
I still
Surviving
Surviving,
together.
many people don't understand, including my husband. It took a professional to explain it to him. People don't appreciate him,
How lucky.
how lucky they are to
Mm.
not understand. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always
Yeah.
say. If you don't understand depression or anxiety, then you're great.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
that is amazing for you. And yeah.
Yeah, I always think. I just think if you don't understand, then that's awesome. Then that's great for you. And it sounds like I'm
Yeah.
being like condescending or
No.
terrible. I just think it's awesome that you don't understand because then you haven't
Mhm.
experienced it. Like
Mhm.
I just think it's great that you don't understand what it feels like. And like because I said that to one of my partners, and he took it so bad. I was just like, it's great that you don't understand. It's great that you've had a great life and
Yes.
it's been great for you. And he was just like, are you being like condescending? I'm like, no, I'm just saying it's great that you've had a great childhood and that everything's been great for you up until this point. It's great.
Right.
And I was
Right.
being like serious, like I wasn't
Yeah.
being. I was like, it's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, I've never met anyone who's had a great childhood. I was just like, this is amazing. Like, tell me about it. What were your parents like? Did they have a good, I really want to know.
I live a happy childhood vicariously through my husband.
but isn't it? But it's just wonderful to come across. Like I never.
It is. It really is, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
and I was just like,
and it can
listening to
kind of,
stories.
coming from that too, I can say it can kind of make you feel guilty about sharing your stories of childhood, because if you're talking to someone that had a really bad one, you're just kind of like, I'm not really going to say anything, because
love
you
hearing about
don't
his
know
childhood,
how
I love it.
it's.
It's like, oh, that sounds like that's, oh.
I know, and it's just like,
Yeah.
but it's just like I love hearing stories like those stories, like people getting adopted, and it's like, oh, and like the
Oh, I
military
know.
families. It's just like I just
Yeah.
love happy stories because I didn't
Yes.
get to experience it, so I experienced
Right.
it vicariously. And like people winning the
Yes.
lotto, I just like I'm sitting there like crying joy, like, and here he was because he's not winning the lotto, or like just like you had a happy life, just let somebody else have one.
Right.
I
he's
keep
just like,
missing stuff from TCAD.
I wanted to say that surviving
I know.
together, that was
TK is surviving
mean.
together.
That
Yeah.
yeah.
She
yeah.
actually said
That
I
was
should
no
put on my
boundary.
big girl pants and pull myself up by my bootstraps. That is not a boundary. That's just being cruel.
It sounds like she wanted to end the friendship completely.
Yeah. I'm
Because
so sorry that you went through
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
That is terrible.
They're the sort.
Rev Rashim,
Yeah.
this is making sense. Rev Rashim's saying the person doesn't want to better themselves, and it hurts me because I see greatness in this person. That is a tragic, heartbreaking place to be. And there's not a thing you can do until they decide that something needs to change for themselves.
But
That's hard. That is so hard. But if it's dragging you down, some boundaries are 100%.
But don't you always, in every partner I've ever had, abusive or friendship that's been horrible to me, I've always seen greatness in them, which is why I've stuck around.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this friend is that way, but you stick around because you see greatness in them. And you always think, maybe if I just stuck around and loved them enough, or, if I just made them see who they actually are. And I'm not saying this, Reverend, has anything to do with this sort of person or whatever, but they're not going to change who they are until they want to change. And this goes for anybody. So you can't make them see who you think they are. Right. So until they're ready to see who they are. And this might be my harsh self again, but it's just reality. And I've been through enough friendships and relationships to realize that it doesn't matter who you think they are going to be who they are, who they believe they are, regardless of who you think they are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and maybe if you have a journal, maybe you could journal on the positive things that you see about this person. That way, maybe that puts you in a mind frame of setting the boundary in a positive light, as opposed to just doom and gloom. And it is difficult when you see something in someone that they don't even want to try to cultivate. Yeah.
Maybe even write them a letter and say them all the positive, nice things, and just send them that, or just give them that, and just say, you don't even need to say that you're ending the friendship, or don't even need to end the friendship. Just pull yourself back. Just give them just say all the nice things that you see of them.
Yeah.
And maybe then they might see it in themselves, and it might be something that turns the corner for them. You never know. And you don't need
Christy's
even to be part of it. You just
maybe so.
You saying
that would be me.
Help.
Well, Christy makes a good point about that. And that's what I did with my one friend. I didn't end the friendship. I just said, I can't, this is really, you need to kind of figure yourself out, and I have to step back while you do that. And 2 years later, this
TDK,
and a couple of years later, this person called back and had really gotten their life together in an amazing way, and is now doing really, really well. So, it doesn't always have to be anything bad. And I wanted to say too, Tara, I found myself not asking questions about a boundary that was set by a friend. I probably needed to ask more questions. I froze. And that
would be a pretty normal response.
Yeah.
I'd probably freeze too, because I'd be like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? And I'd be thinking about all the things, all the situations that might have led to that boundary, but I wouldn't ask what I did wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and
what
it
is
could
it I'm
be too.
doing?
And it could be too that the boundary, we don't know why the boundary was set. Maybe it was set to protect them. Maybe they were going through something that, they're like, okay, this is going to jeopardize something. I don't know. I'm just, it could have even been that. So it might not have even been your behavior. It might have been something they were saying blanket across the board to everybody. Just letting everybody know this is my boundary. And it might not have really had something to do with you in that sense. Because again, there's also that side of, it's really hard to do, but try not to look at it always as what did I do wrong to let this person, down? Look at it as, what is this person going through in their life that this could be triggering for? Going back to stage, she can be like, why does Christy hate green so much? Well, maybe because my dog was wearing a green sweater and he ran away and I never seen him again. And so now I just can't see the color green,
I just don't like nature.
Okay, so don't wear green anymore. I get it, okay?
I love your green shirt. I'm just trying to pick the most basic thing.
I'm joking.
I know. But Tara, maybe look at it that way. Maybe it really wasn't specifically you. Maybe it was just a protective behavior
for a
this friend was
time,
going through.
for a situation.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You know. But it is good to ask questions. But just remember, don't always just assume that everything is an attack and internalize it, because,
But
maybe
everything always feels like an attack to the traumatized.
It does. And that's why I said it's hard to do.
I laugh, but it's serious.
It's true. It's a hard place to get to look at, but in reframing, I find that sometimes that helps me, because, if I'm really left holding the bag and I'm like, I didn't really do anything, well, that's when I kind of am like, could it be?
First instinct for me is always, it's my fault. Then I'm like, did I do something wrong here? Like for the first 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, it's my fault. Then I'm like, hang on, what did I actually do? And then if it is my fault, I'm like, okay, I did something wrong with it. But if I didn't do anything, I'm like, maybe it's my fault. I'll go and find out.
I think that's an automatic negative thought too, though. As you said, the traumatized always feel attacked. So immediately we go to, especially coming from abusive relationships of any kind, you immediately go to, what did I do wrong? And it's often not you.
What did I do? No, it's generally, because I'm like I said, I walk through life gently, but I try not to do anything wrong.
Right.
But like as with Rev, I think for most of the time, boundaries are for yourself. They are. You set boundaries for yourself, but in the end, they work out for both.
Yeah. They can. The potential's there.
I agree.
Yeah. And Huckleberry had just said,
yes, say mine, Denise.
Huckleberry had just said, I've always got one foot out the door waiting to be rejected. I can relate with that.
I can too.
It's easier to walk away than to be rejected. I get that fully.
Yeah.
I get that fully.
First. Yeah. If you leave first, they can't leave you.
Well, and
exactly.
a lot of times, if you tell a friend, this is the effect it's having on me, and this is the reason why I need to set it, you'll find that oftentimes, because they're a friend, if they know it's hurting you, they're unaware of it a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true. That can be true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
I have a couple of pinned comments here. I wanted to. Anik says and it's an answer. It can answer Rev's question. I think drawing a healthy boundary is more for you, but the relationship will end up benefiting. So in the end, if the other person benefits too, Rev. And mischief managed. I love this, and I can relate to this too. I have normie friends that I've had for decades, and that they're normies, and they have no understanding what it is to get lost out there in addiction land. And thank God. But it's good to have people in your life that do get it. It is.
Yeah.
Well, the only problem with that is that now that I'm the alcoholic or whatever, everyone comes to me to find out how they deal with addictions, and I'm like, I can give you numbers, but I don't know how to. I know how to. I was only an alcoholic for a very short time, so I can help you I can give you numbers. So, so
sometimes those are really good too. Be like, hey, this number really helped me. Give them a call.
Yeah, but it's really strange because they come to me if they want to know about, autism or domestic violence, and now I'm the addiction freaking queen. I'm just like, Jesus, I need to be known for something better. I need to start a cult.
You know what? I thought that way, especially like when I first started coming to these meetings. It's like I wish I was known for something better, but I'm reframing as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm helping people just by telling my story, and I'm able to help people from what it is that I figured out. And now I get to see that in action with one of my friends, and it's like, okay, I've clearly learned something. I've clearly learned something
coming from where you have come from. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you.
And then that's just reframing it into I can help, whether it's just giving a number, because I know that sometimes I'm not going to have the information, or I'm actually not going to have the strength to have that conversation, because that's a fact too. I'm not going to have the strength to have that conversation. So here's a number. But just something as simple as, why do you feel that? What do you think that means? Just the simple questions. Like I actually was talking to a friend last night and was like, oh my God, I sound like Christy. It's just, but it helps. It helps them just to be able to break it down. Yeah. Okay, now let's meditate.
Let's do some box breathing now.
Yeah.
Right. But those questions really are good universal questions to, help anybody. Really,
And it kind of opens up the door for you to be a little bit more brutally honest too, because now you've been like, what do you think of it? And then they give an answer, and it's like, okay, well, coming from where I come from, my situations, this is what it looks like to me. But that's just my opinion. And then I leave it at that. I'm finding it a lot easier to give an opinion by asking those questions first.
Yeah. It's boy, our chat is going fast.
Yes,
I wanted to say something. I know Tommy says we should never say, I know exactly how you feel. So I'll just say that exact same thing happened to me and it made me feel horrible. Yeah. Or another thing that, you could say is, for me, it looked like, something kind of along those lines.
Well, one of the things that people with neurodivergencies do, because sometimes, I wouldn't say we don't empathize, because a lot of us have overloads of empathy. But to show that we can relate to something that you've been through, we will tell a similar story. So that but the thing is, some people call that trauma dumping. But I'm just like, but isn't that what everybody does? Like, you see it on the internet, like. So someone will see something, someone will say something they've been through, and then you go through all the comments and all these neurotypical people, and you can tell they're neurotypical because of the way they talk, just saying. And so, and they're going through and they're all relating the same stories. And then you'll see some neurodivergent people, and you can tell they from the way they talk as well. And they're just going through. And then you get a whole bunch of people saying, oh, you're freaking trauma dumping. I'm just like, but you all did it too. Everybody does that. Yeah. That's how you relate. That's how you show that you relate to a story. Because you say, I've been through something similar. It's not exactly the same as you, but it's similar. This is how we can relate. We've shown that we haven't been through the same, but we're similar. This is how we relate as humans.
And it builds connections. Yeah, it builds connections. I'm really bad about that. I'll be like, well, this one time, and I'll tell a story. And then I always try to step back from that, because then sometimes I do feel like, but it is a good way to relate. It's a good way to make the connections. And I think you would have to do a lot to have it be considered trauma dumping, The
thing is, I've been through so much that I can relate to so many, and it's just like, but now I don't know whether I can just say, oh, well, I don't know exactly what you've been. I'll never say I know exactly what you've been through, but I've been through something similar. So
Right.
this
Yeah.
is how
Yeah.
I can relate to your story. You know,
Mhm.
Right.
I feel
I feel like there's nothing wrong with being able to relate,
Yeah.
especially
No, not at
if you've been
all.
through something similar.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's the healthiest thing, but I'll say I'm not trying to explain away what you're trying to tell me. I just want to share a
Yeah.
little bit of me. And
Yeah.
then that
Yeah.
maybe this will help. And that's what
Yeah. That's a good way
especially
to put
lately,
it.
that's what I've been saying. And
Mhm.
I was just told a couple of days ago, that's a bit of a trauma response because of the way that in my head, what I say to
Uh-huh.
myself first before I say that, it's okay, I'm going to say this and I'm either going to be rejected or I'm going to be blamed for taking over the conversation. And that is the trauma response. But my
Yeah.
response, I still haven't figured out. Is that healthy? Like, I'm not trying to take away from you, but
Yeah.
I feel like I
Mhm.
could give you a little bit of me. Maybe it'll have something
Mhm.
in it that could help you.
Right on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Tara,
Yeah.
I do agree that sometimes traumatizing details can be traumatizing, but what's traumatizing for one person isn't always traumatizing for another, and you can't walk around life being triggered by everything because otherwise everything
Hmm.
would be a trigger. You know,
Yeah.
so this is like if I went through life being triggered by everything, I'd be like, shut it,
Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah.
it's just, and sometimes details help, you know,
Yes.
sharing
Yeah.
details. But you also have to say some of this might be a little bit.
Trigger warning. That's all.
Yeah.
There is a
Mhm.
trigger warning in here.
But
Yes.
sometimes even saying trigger warning is a trigger for some people.
Yeah.
Well, even yesterday, Ben's question about was any of Aaron's arrest triggering? Well, it was triggering for me at the arrest point for a different reason than what it
Okay.
was triggering for Tommy. The same
Okay.
point was triggering, but it was a
Yeah.
different reason. So
Right.
it's not always going to be the same reason, and it may not be the same level of trigger as it was for you, as it is for the person that you're talking to.
Mhm.
I just want to show you this. It's Mia's first day of school today.
Oh, how cute.
Oh.
Oh,
She wanted to show me
that's
the photo.
awesome.
Yeah, so it's just her first day of school. So yeah, but yeah, it's just I don't know. For me, it was because I've seen so many of one particular part. No, a few partners arrested. That was hard,
Mhm.
but it's just
Oh,
like,
okay.
yes, but it's just like but knowing I didn't actually have to go to the police station and wait around ages afterwards, just like that was also relieving because it was just like, okay, I'm
Mhm.
watching an arrest happen live, but I'm not part of it. So it was like but also like I don't have to go to the police station.
Yeah.
But I feel that same way whenever I see any arrest. And, you know, I'm in Queensland, Australia, and I went to the Gold Coast last night. So I see arrests happen
Sorry,
quite
dog.
often. I feel this,
Oh,
oh gosh, sorry, dog.
dog.
Yeah,
Dog
I
and
see
road.
arrests. Yeah, I see people getting arrested quite often. So, but it's the same. It's like I don't have to go to the police station.
Yeah.
See, and this is where I'm different from that to me was just like, oh, I've not ever been arrested or had to go pick anybody up who's been arrested or seen anything like that. I'm very fortunate in that way. So for me, I was just it was like watching a TV show. It was like, oh, okay, he's getting arrested. Oh, what's going to happen now? And so to me, I don't always think that something like that could be triggering. So this is interesting to me that there are these different triggers around
But the
it
thing
that
is,
I never would have thought of.
I don't
Yeah.
even think about it until it happens. You know, I'm not walking around
Yeah,
going,
yeah,
"Oh, someone might get arrested
sure.
today."
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but then I see someone get arrested, and then I feel that, and then I'm like, "Why do
yeah.
I feel that
Hmm.
way?" And then I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay," because I
Yeah.
spent 8 years of going to
that's
seeing
interesting.
someone getting arrested, but I don't. It's not
Yeah.
something. It's a subconscious reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think about it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was surviving together.
Mm.
If you, I can't. Oh, surviving together, sass. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Sass. That must be sexual assault, surviving,
Support group.
support. Oh yes, sexual. I know, but the sass I like. I'm just looking for it.
Yeah, and like for me with that
Michelle.
arrest, it wasn't even the arrest
Michelle.
it wasn't even the arrest that was triggering for me. For me, it was just seeing another system failing the people that it should
Mm.
be supporting.
Yeah.
And
That
it
was
makes
my
sense.
trigger.
It makes sense with what you're going through too, and you think about it. But yeah, that was just something which I completely. It wasn't until Tommy even mentioned that he can't be around even police officers. You know, me, I don't.
Well, it's a bit
You know,
risky for him if he gets
well,
arrested
yeah,
one more time.
yeah, and,
Yep.
and he's going to have that. It makes perfect sense. But it's just as somebody who does not have that, it's so easy to forget that other people have it because you know we're all messing with our own issues constantly, and
I found it. Sorry.
so
Yeah, that's right. But
go on.
I was just thinking when Tommy's saying that he wants to go out and do a protest, I'm thinking, please don't. But
Well,
because
Yeah.
I think he'd stay back a
then-
bit. I
but the
think
thing
he'd
is-
stay back a lot more than Aaron.
but the thing is, it's like, but it's so unfair. Like, there's so much that he can't seem to do now. He can't travel around the world, and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
It just doesn't seem fair. Just
well,
No.
he wouldn't. I mean, how do I describe this? The situation in Tucson is a lot different than you may realize. The Scientology, it's a mission in Tucson, so it's much smaller. And in fact, I've never even seen that.
Where's that?
I've never
Arizona.
even seen that open.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where that's Tommyland, Tucson, Arizona. And yeah,
I've heard about that in a song.
the Scientology mission that he keeps talking about going to, it is so small, and and he's just talking about he can't really. You could protest there, but it's like nobody would see it anyway. I don't think
Yeah.
even Scientology would see it. I mean, because they're never there. But yeah, he's talking for him. He's talking more about just going up and talking to the people and more than a protest. And
No, but the thing is, what I mean is like, I just think that it doesn't seem fair that it isn't going to jail a punishment, or why do you continue to be punished afterwards? Like the 3 strikes. Like I think they've got something similar in West or Northern Territory. 3 strikes and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very fair, regardless of what.
A lot of that too is just law enforcement culture. Once they find out you've done anything wrong, and it wouldn't matter. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff on his record, but if like I went out and
I'm not just talking about him. I'm just talking about just say is it 3 strikes of anything? So if you've got if you've got like a drug thing, and then if you've got like a car thing, and then if you've got like a,
I think it has to be a violent quote unquote crime.
It's
bank robbery
pretty serious. Yeah, it's not like 3 traffic tickets and you're done. I mean, it's got to be.
But I've heard of 3 people, like of 3 drug things, and you go to jail.
Yeah, it would have to be more
depending on what it was. Yeah. I mean, it's not like, and that's kind of looking a little bit different in the States now too. So it just, it's really, yeah, no, it's a mess over here.
Well, I just figured that if you do the crime, you do your time, and that's it.
Well,
isn't it?
Yeah, and Tommy's point is just that he's got such an extensive record that
I haven't really paid too much attention about that. I'm more about the drug.
Well, it's just that in his case, even if he had been, well, of course, the whole thing, you have multiple layers there because they're obviously doing selective enforcement or trying to do selective enforcement. But to boot, to say it like a Canadian, to boot, he has what happened to him is even if it was known he didn't do anything wrong, just the fact he'd been put in cuffs, that because he has a record, they would climb, because that's just the way law enforcement culture is. If you got pulled over for a ticket and you had all that stuff, they're going to take a lot more time with you. If somebody says he assaulted me, oh, that's going to complicate it so much. Even if you didn't
Which
do anything wrong.
doesn't
That's
make a
just-
lick of sense to me.
yeah, it's just the nature of the system. Like I said,
All that they
I've been through
all that they look at is history. They're not
Well, see,
looking
that's
at the
one.
current person. They're
Yeah.
just looking at the history.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, that's one of the.
They're not
one of
looking
the
at the
things.
situations, just the history.
Well, that's one of the things that I'm going through with my housemate at the moment. He's saying that he doesn't look very good on paper, and I says, well, I don't look good on paper either. But take me in context. I'm a freaking saint. Put me in context. I'm a saint. You just gotta don't take me on paper. You know, let me speak, and I'm a saint.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's one of those things that it just happens a lot, and it shouldn't. I mean, I agree completely. If you've done what you needed to do, you've paid your debt, you've walked out a better person on the other side. I think that, there should be some leniency made from that. If you did it and you didn't walk out maybe a completely better person on the other side, well, there's something to be said about that too. But it's just, I think it's one of those things, they just look at paper. It's just like when I worked at banking. This is why I don't do banking anymore. Okay, I was a loan officer and I had to turn a lady down. She was a single mom. She had 3 kids. Everybody in town knew her story. She had been abused. It was awful. I had to turn her down for a loan to get a car because of 1 credit point. 1 point.
Wow.
1 point. And I had to sit across from this woman who just had an awful story. She was just trying to get help and say, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. The other thing that I had to do, which was really crappy, was a woman was leaving her husband, and I knew them both, and she started an account separately. They had a joint account, and she had her own account, and she was taking money out of their joint account and putting it into her personal account. And I couldn't say anything because legally, you can't tell anybody that because you don't know. Like, maybe they agreed on it, maybe they didn't, maybe she's trying to leave an abusive situation. Like, you never know what it was. I knew that wasn't the case, but so she ended up siphoning all of the money out of their joint account to the point that one day he came in to tried to buy some gas for his car. Car didn't go through, came in with $0 in the account. And even though I knew exactly where every penny went, I legally could not tell him a thing.
Wow.
And that was the point where I was like,
Yeah.
nope. Over 1 point, and to watch somebody siphon that much money out of an account to leave. And there was nothing I could do. I refused to wait on him after that. Like, when I figured out what was going on, I would leave. I'd be like, I can't do that. And that was a friend of mine. And I got told that I would be in huge violation of federal laws if I said anything. So I couldn't say a word.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it. Sorry.
Mhm.
One of the reasons why I actually even brought it up is because, going back to our earlier conversation, is that even though I'm known for the things that I do, is one of my best friends, she goes, well, that's because we think of you as an advocate. I'm like, oh, okay. So, and I actually want to go into, we have, I guess you could call them youth attention centers, but I guess you could call them, and they've got the largest population in them are our Indigenous population, and they're trying to work on rehabilitation rather than rehabilitation is better than
punishment.
So instead of rather than it being punitive, they want it to be rehabilitative. So, and a lot of, we have a large portion of issues with alcohol and abuse in our general population. But they say that Indigenous has it more. That's a big fat lie.
Okay.
It's a huge
Okay.
lie. It's more pronounced in our Indigenous populations because they like to focus on that because, where's all our money going to the Indigenous population? All they're doing is spending it on alcohol and drugs, and all they're doing is abusing their children. And you just think, have you not seen what's happening in the white population as well? It's just not, it just really shits me. Anyway, I'd like to go in and be something, work with the mental health because I have, that and autism and blah, 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 and DV and alcoholism and all that. So I would like to use everything that I've been through and take it into that situation. And the fact that my children are Indigenous and I'm part of that culture as well, I'd like to take that into that situation and, work with parents of those children, and instead of them being like taken away from their culture and put into white people culture, because that's we've got stolen generation, and they say that it stopped back in the 60s. No, it's continuing. We're taking children out. The stolen generation never ended. So I'd like to actually be part of the solution. And
I think that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that you want to advocate for things like that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Well, I hate to say this, but the adult generation, we've got to work on the children because they're the focus, and a large portion of the adult generation have given up on the children. And you just think, how many times have people just
given you a chance?
Well, not only that, but throughout every generation, they've always gone, oh, those dumb kids, It's every generation. Like my generation, I know, Generation X, millennials. I'm kind of on the cusp. My parents hated us. Their parents hated them. Their parents hated them. They've always. I'm sure, like the cavemen. When the caveman children were going around desperate cave walls, they were going, look at them effing kids. It's them kids. Get off my rocks. Get off my lawn, So I'm sure it's been going on through millennia. F them kids, So I just think instead of saying F them kids, help them kids,
Yes.
Instead of just being,
Yes.
And so I just because I wasn't helped, I was forgotten. And we're just forgetting them kids, and these adults just sitting around going, oh, we had it all, F them kids, and they're just, and who buys them the video games and all that sort of stuff and just puts them on them? The parents. And now we're complaining about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So all those parents out there trying to sue Fortnite, well, sorry, you're the ones who put your kids on the game, so don't go around and be like, oh, Fortnite, you made the game addictive. Well, parents, you gave the kids the game in the first place.
Are you talking about the one that originated in Quebec by chance?
Fortnite?
Is that where it originated? Oh.
There was a lawsuit that started in Quebec against Fortnite, and then a whole bunch of other parents got on board. But I laughed when I saw that. I was like, this is a video game, folks. You should have chose the screen time if you have such a problem.
I mean, not that it does any good, but we have warning labels on cigarettes because somebody kicked up some dust about it being addictive and, and harmful and all this stuff. So, I don't know.
Yeah. And we know that. I think, though, that as the parental unit, speaking as a parental unit, I'm aware that they're addictive. My first partner was quite addicted to video games, and it's not something that has been a secret, in my opinion. If you're so sheltered from the media, no matter what type of media, whether it be this type, mainstream, whatever, you've sheltered yourself from the information. I'm sorry, but I have this information. I'm just confused why other people don't. Well, why did you put yourself under that rock?
Well, not only that, I'm going around warning parents about Roblox. Keep your kids off that game. Don't let your kids. If you got grandkids, whatever. Don't let your kids on Roblox. It's a terrible, terrible game that is just full of predators. And people and I'm just sitting there, like I was telling this parent like at my friend's house the other day, and she had a 2-year-old, 2 years old on Roblox. I'm like sitting there telling her, and she's got like a 7-year-old. Her 7-year-old's in like grade whatever, this same age as Mia. And I'm just like telling her about, like, showing her all these different videos about how all these predators, and not only that, teaches kids gambling. They gamble hats. They've got this whole hats thing in Roblox. So not only is it teaching kids how to gamble from a very young age and how to be little tycoons of industry, they're making real money, but they've got predators on there. And I'm telling her all about it. She's like, oh, yeah, no, but she's not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that. I'm like, I'm telling you to your face, showing you actual evidence that there is people on this game who will target your children. And she's like, oh, I'm just like, I wanted to smash it. I wanted to smash it over her head.
Yeah.
Because don't come to me when your daughter is 13 and be like, oh, wow, you know, she's being targeted. And I've been warning you when your daughter was 7.
Wow.
And not only that, Roblox don't care. They know all about it because they're earning money from these little 7-year-old tycoons. You know, 7, 8, 13, however old. And they don't care about the freaking predators. Oh, you know, and I'm telling parents, and they're just like, oh, don't care. You know, it keeps my neurodivergent kid entertained for like hours on end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here I am, a gamer who had to protect my daughter. I spent hundreds of dollars on, you know, devices to protect my daughter from games and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So parents who aren't gamers getting told by gamers to protect their own children, and they're ignoring. So it's so frustrating. So
wow, that's
That's
really
not
scary. That's gross.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Yeah, and nothing's changed, Kristen. Like nothing has changed. So, and it's actually getting worse because now parents are being told, and they literally don't care because they'd rather their children be babysat by their iPads. So, yeah, sorry to bring the mood down, but it's just like, it's so frustrating because, like, and then you get these news reports about, you know, this mother is going to be out there eventually. Well, I was not raised on cable. We weren't allowed TV at all, and I'm still neurodivergent. I was outside playing with the sticks and branches and bugs and tadpoles and stuff. So, and so was my daughter. She didn't like games at all, you know. So my son's completely different, but my daughter wasn't. She would not sit still long enough for any of that stuff. But yeah, but it's just well, the internet, I reckon, it's like the stuff that's happening. You're readily access to all sorts of stuff these days. Like kids think stuff that happens on Pornhub is what's actually happening in real life, and they get access to that as soon as they get access to the
tablet.
You know, tablet. You know, and I'm just thinking, shit. You know, and these girls are like 13 out there now. They're nowadays getting expected to do these things that these boys see online. And parents are worried about what games they're playing. No, they can see a lot more online than what they can see on games. They're highly regulated, you know. So, and they're in Australia, we don't get games that you get over in America. Like we get like games that you can play over there. We're like, we've got to get them imported. So, but we don't. We still can't get them imported. But it's just like, yeah, we just can't. So the games are so regulated, and they're getting blamed for school shootings in America. If that were true, we'd have school shootings over here. So
yeah.
I have a friend just asking to check in on me because tomorrow's the big day. So
Oh.
I'm going to pop off and just give them a quick call. And I've planned a movie night. I've made a friend in the house. She likes practicing her English. So I planned a movie night with horror movies tonight because we both like horror movies. But I didn't want to cut anybody off before I had done that. But I want to say thank you and good night. And if you guys can keep me in your thoughts tomorrow, I'd really appreciate it.
Yes, please let
Sending
us
you
know how
all of the prayers and all of the stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. And it was amazing seeing everybody.
Yes, I'll get off my rant now.
Bye.
Well, I don't know. You guys, I feel like I've had a meeting. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Gotta get this.
Oh, yeah. And Awaken. This tablet is 2014, or circa 2014. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a computer that old, but it's never your fault. It's always the fault of the PC. It's never ever your fault. It could be Billy Gates.
That's not what they say when you call IT.
Yeah, well,
it's the person behind the computer.
And whenever you call IT, they're part of the conspiracy. We can work on this conspiracy. We could put Carol's Bigfoot in there. We could sprinkle in some Elvis if we need, some Elvi, if you will. Yeah, we can come up with a pretty good conspiracy theory. So yeah, just never say it's my fault. Never ever let me see you say it's my fault. I'm just saying.
Well, I will say this.
It off and on again.
I had one problem with my Wi-Fi, and it was because I had hit the little button on accident that turned off the Wi-Fi access to my computer, and I was like, "This computer is terrible," and it really was just me.
Let's try restructuring that sentence. I had problems with my Wi-Fi because it wasn't on. That's much, much better. Always blame the computer. Always.
It wasn't on. Yeah, I don't know how I did it. It's like way up there. I must have accidentally hit it somehow. But
yeah,
that's when they go, have you tried checking the switch at the wall?
Sorry?
Have you tried checking the switch at the wall? Sorry, I'm doing my IT voice. Have you tried turning it on again?
Yeah. But yeah, I've had my Wi-Fi. I find I have to reboot my router, and one of the problems that Awakened was having was apparently live videos will get the clock in them with a little spinny dial. I've noticed just that, at least on my browser, at least on my what do you call it? One of my browsers.
Love that show. Love IT Crowd.
I have a ad blocker, and that's starting to get kind of. I think YouTube might be finally figuring out a way to stick it to people with ad blockers.
Okay.
I love ad blockers.
Yes, I do.
And VPNs.
Oh yeah. I need to get more into VPN. I'm just my problem is I'm lazy. It's not incompetence, it's sheer laziness. I'm okay with that. I accept it. It's easy. Zen. Yes, it's all good. Laziness, good. Yeah.
Mine's not laziness, it's lack of motivation.
Well, yeah.
I'll go one further.
Are we ready to do a meditation and some breathing?
Yeah.
So
definitely.
If everybody's felt, since it's been a while since although I have heard that Carol has done some good meditations herself. So
well, I cheated. I read mine from a book.
It's not cheating.
All right. So for those of you that are new, how we like to end the meetings is we do some box breathing and then we go into a guided meditation. So the box breathing is we're going to do 3 of them because apparently I can't count above 3 when it comes to box breathing. So we're going to breathe in through our nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and then exhale until all of the air is out of your lungs, allowing your shoulders to drop. As you breathe in, try to breathe in something positive, whether it's, I'm worthy of love, if you have a personal mantra, anything like that. And then as you exhale anything that no longer serves you. We'll go into the meditation. And then when we're done, I'll just say, when you're ready, open your eyes. So I missed you too, Misha. Glad you're here. Okay, so go ahead and kind of Loosen up your shoulders a little bit, roll them, shake it out. And drop into your heart space, whether that's putting your hand on your heart or imagining a small version of yourself walking into your heart center, sitting surrounded by all of them. We're going to go ahead and start with our box breathing. Go ahead and breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Again, breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Last one, breathe in. Hold. And exhale. For this meditation, I want you to imagine yourself sitting in a field of wildflowers under a big, bright blue sky, with puffy clouds rolling by. You can feel the sun on your skin. And you're sitting on the ground with your legs crossed, just paying attention to the things that are going by. You stick your hand out up into the air, and a little butterfly lands right in the palm of your hand. And as you're watching this butterfly, think of all of the beautiful places that it's been, all of the things that it's seen. And you take a moment to accept from this butterfly all of the love and beauty that it has picked up on its worldly travels, letting the beauty and the love of this butterfly just soak in to your heart, to your energy, feeling the joy and excitement and wonder filling up your heart space until you slowly begin to smile. And then you look at this butterfly and you think of the one thing that you no longer want to hold on to anymore. And you imagine this thing getting packed up into a little suitcase. This one problem that is really bothering you. You fold it up and you put it in the suitcase. And you close the lid in your pocket. And you throw away the imaginary key. And you set it on the back of this butterfly. And the butterfly takes off with this worry. And it takes it far, far away. You watch the butterfly fly off into the gorgeous blue sky. With a smile on your face, you look across the meadow and you see us all standing, waiting for you to join us. And we wave you up. It's going to take you 3 steps to get to us. And instead of releasing something with each step, this time with each step, going to bring something positive, happy, and joyful into your life. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. We all welcome you with a warm hug and a smile. And we look off into the distance at our beautiful, bright futures. And we walk boldly in the direction of all of the things that we want to achieve and all of our dreams that we have. Knowing that we are never alone and that we always have connection and friends. And when you are ready, open your eyes. There you go.
Good sounding.
Oh, yes, yes. And we end with a huzzah.
Huzzah!
Huzzah. I love a good huzzah. All right. Well, I am going to go check and see what my hubby and my dogs have been up to. So I will see you all tomorrow.
Hey.
Bye.
Hi, good to see you. Yay, you guys. Good meeting. Loved it.
Yeah, sorry about my little rant. It's just
Oh,
that
that's okay. It's okay.
I feel so strongly about it, and I don't think enough people know.
Yeah, you have a point. You do.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as soon as I get on a platform, I'm like, must tell.
Right on.
So yeah, love you all, and it's so great
Love
to be
you
back here.
too.
Yeah, love you, peace. Yeah.
You behave yourself, Ben.
Yeah, you'll be
I always
singled
behave
out.
myself. I am angelic. The skies open up. I was polishing my halo. And you interrupted me, young lady. You have some issues.
Yeah, that sounds
Well,
That
angelic.
is true. I will not deny it. Well, or maybe I could do the I can neither confirm or nor deny that.
I would like you to talk to the powers that be at some point, telling them, since you're in the know, you are one of the cool kids, and you obviously have connections. I would appreciate if we could get some old-fashioned radio commercials back in the old days. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. What happened to those commercials? And things? Oh, now all the
I don't know where you live, and we still get those here in Northwest Arkansas.
We still get those.
Yeah.
We get them about doors. Doors. Buy some doors.
The ones.
Okay, I gotta go. Love you, bye.
The ones I'm getting are so tacky. Like, we value your service. We would like to sell you stained windows. Okay, I'm gonna go and take my aggression out on something. I don't know what. Maybe on the computer.
That halo of yours.
Yeah, I gotta put it back on. But you try. That's not gonna get me anything. Try not to get arrested. How about that?
Okay, I think I can see that.
You take care. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks, you guys. I love this meeting. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. You make it what it is. You bring your lovely selves, and it's just beautiful. And I hope to see you again next meeting. And until then, peace, y'all.